Alright, so I've had a few people request that I do a video on my power inverter install, my 2011 Fuzion 302. So, what you're looking at here is a 1000 watt Pure Sine power inverter that I've wired up. As you can see, the wires here, my fuse, they go over to my battery bank, and all my wires that I've used in order to wire my plugs up. Now what I've done, some people wire these in differently than what I've done. I wanted to keep it fairly simple. I used just regular old heavy duty extension cords, ran them over to a main junction box where all my wires meet, and then I split out of there and go over to everywhere that I've put plugs in the coach. So some people run these power inverters into their breaker box, which seemed like a bit of a daunting task given the fact that these toy haulers have generator power sources and things of that nature, and you need fairly heavy duty switches in order to switch between inverter power or generator power, and they're actually expensive switches too. I think they run in and around $300 or $400. So what I did is just wired up completely separate plugs. So I'll show you those plugs, just give you an idea of what's going on here at the junction box. So all the junction box is just a place where I can run one cord. You can see there's two power cord options there, but I ran one cord out into the junction, and then all my plugs run off of out of that junction box and off of just that one cord. So I can turn this inverter on here. Gives your voltage and how much draw you've got coming out of it. It switches back and forth. And this wire here is actually for a remote on-off switch that I wired up in the coach too. So anyway, I'll jump inside and show you my plugs here. Okay, so as you can see, this is the TV that comes with the coach. Up in behind here, I've wired this plug. You can see standing off here a little bit. That's my power inverter plug. I still have the shore power plug that the RV came with. So I've got both options. I can run power inverter power if I'm out somewhere off the grid, or if I'm plugged in on the grid, I can run plug-in power. And now the big reason I did this, as I mentioned, is so I didn't have to run one of those switches and worry about something being plugged into the inverter being on, and the generator accidentally be started, and then two conflicting power sources fight against each other, and I think the end result is probably a cooked inverter. So the other beauty of this is I can leave this plugged in here all the time, generator running or not, and not have to worry about any conflicting power. So I guess it'd be like having a power inverter plugged in your car with the car off, and then have your car on, and it still works just fine. So that was my theory behind that. It was very easy to wire. In behind here is all hollow. You can run your wires up and down here quite easily. These plugs I bought at Lowe's. They are relatively cheap. I think somewhere in around $4 or $5. Very easy to wire, especially with that extension cord wire, because you've only got the 3 wires, and they're the correct colors for what these plugs call for on the back of them. It's just hook the colors up, spin the screws, and you've got power. So anyway, and this is the remote on-off switch. So you can see it turns green when it's on and off. Just put that on my power board here, and now So the other plug that I've put up here in the master suite to run this TV here, I've put underneath the sink in the cabinet here. So I've got a bit of a light here so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. I put this plug right up here. You can see the wire coming into it. It runs down the wall, underneath, and into the pass-through storage down through that hole there. I didn't really want to see all these wires up on the wall, so made me put it underneath the sink here. You can see tucks in here nicely. So up on top here, I've still got my house plug or shore power plug, and turn the light on here again. I've also put a little hole in the side of the cabinet so I can run my cord down and through the cabinet and have it all tucked away neatly. So and here is my outdoor plug. I put it here in the this is the spare propane storage, propane bottle storage. I've also put in a little air compressor here I use for various things, ATVs or filling up my airbags on my truck. But anyway, that's my outdoor plug that I can use for whatever as well. And as I was telling you there, I've put the that junction box in there so I can run all of them at the same time, as long as I'm not over that 1000 watts, and run my compressor when I want it and whatever else. So okay, so there you have it, my power inverter install 1000 watt Pure Sine, as close to shore power as you can get. Some folks even claim it's better, so you can run all your fancy TVs and what have you off of that. And yeah, so far I've by no means reached the 1000 watt limit of this thing. Maybe seen a couple 100 watts out of it, that's about it. Even with that compressor running, it pulls maybe 120. And the only other thing I want to do is possibly put another plug in the coach, something back in the garage, and have some power back there for the kids' TV or whatever else you might want. It's kind of a nice, if you're doing any off the grid camping, it's nice to have that power without your generator running. It's, as you know, the generators are a little loud and some folks don't enjoy them, and so there you go. Power inverter install in the pass-through, pretty easy. Don't need a whole lot of knowledge of wiring or what have you, but that's that. So hope you enjoyed. Please post your comments below if you have any, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks very much.